Have you ever returned to your home after a long day? You put the key in the lock, you open the door, and in the very moment you step across the threshold, you feel it. An invisible weight, a tiredness that does not just belong to the body, an unease that you cannot name. You were outside all day, fighting, working, moving. Now you are home, but you do not feel at peace. The space that is meant to be your sanctuary, the place you restore instead, it feels stagnant, heavy. Why is this? We are porous beings. Every day, we go out into the world. We interact. We listen. We absorb. We believe we only interact with words, with actions. But we are interacting with energy. And when we return home at the end of the day, we bring home more than just the dust on our shoes. We bring home fragments, the energetic fragments of the world, the lingering frustration from an argument, the silent envy from a colleague's glance, the simmering anxiety of the crowd you moved through, the fatigue of the person sitting next to you on the bus. These things, they are attachments. They do not need a physical invitation. They attach themselves to our energy field and we carry them home. The ancient ones, they had a name for this. They called it negative energy. Others, in other traditions, call it by more frightening names, dark entities, a curse. Some even call it witchcraft. Do not be afraid of these names. These are just words to describe the same essence. What is that essence? It is simply chaos. It is energy that has lost its balance, energy that has lost its harmony, energy that does not belong to you, and it has followed you into your sacred space. This chaos, it does not belong there. Your home is meant to be a fortress. It is meant to be a temple. It is the place you restore, where you heal, where you become whole again. It cannot do this if it is filled with the energetic noise of the outside world. Your home needs a protector. Your mind needs a gatekeeper. But what if I told you that the ancient masters who understood energy and the mind, they understood this problem perfectly, and they never left their sacred spaces unprotected? What if I told you that there's an ancient wisdom, a ritual, astonishingly simple yet profoundly powerful, that can turn your humble threshold into an energetic shield that no negativity can penetrate? A method to cleanse what is already inside and to set a clear boundary, a way to speak in the language of the universe and say to the chaos of the world, this far, no further. This is not about fear. This is about mastery. Stay with me. In the Shaolin tradition, we learn that the mind must be a fortress, a place of discipline, a place of order, a place of inner strength. But this training, this mastery, does not just begin in the mind. It begins with your physical space. It begins with a deep awareness of where you live. I want you to visualize your home. Right now, close your eyes if you must. See it clearly. What do you see? Bricks, mortar, 4 walls, a roof. This is what the hurried, physical eyes see. This is the shell. The ancient ones, the masters, they saw something else. They did not just see a shelter from the elements. That is only its most basic function. They saw a living body, a breathing entity. They saw a temple. They saw a fortress. Yes, a fortress. a fortress for the soul. Inside these walls is your sacred ground. It is the interior. It is where your family rests. It is where you lower your defenses, where you remove the armor of the outside world. It is where you allow yourself to be vulnerable. Because only when you are vulnerable can you truly restore the walls, the roof. They are solid. They protect you from the physical elements, the wind, the rain, the cold. They are the high stone walls of your castle. They do their job very well. But every fortress, no matter how strong, no matter how well built, has a weak point, an intentional weak point, an entry point, the gate, your threshold. That is the gate. It is not just a piece of wood or stone or metal. Do not ever see it that way again. Understand what it is. It is a boundary. It is a liminal space, a place that is not quite inside and not quite outside. It is a bridge. It is the point of energetic transaction. It is where the chaotic, noisy world outside meets your world of quiet order inside. Now, a master of a fortress, a conscious guardian. What is his most important duty? It is not polishing the stones. It is not counting the food in the storehouse. It is guarding the gate. He stands at the gate. He watches. He is fully aware. He decides who is allowed in and who is not. He controls the flow. You are the guardian of your fortress. But are you guarding your gate, or do you leave it wide open? You come home, tired, distracted, your mind is still at the office or in the argument. You step across and you leave your energetic gate completely unprotected. This is the mechanism of infiltration. The chaos we spoke of, the heavy energy, it does not need a physical body. It does not knock. It does not ask for permission. It is energetic dust, and it follows you like a shadow. It clings to your fatigue. It clings to your anger. It seeps in right at the threshold, like a cold fog that you cannot see, but you can feel, and because the gate is unguarded, it finds a home. It settles in the corners. It clouds the air. It makes the atmosphere heavy. It erodes your peace, piece by piece. This is how your sanctuary slowly becomes a storehouse for the world's energetic garbage. This is not superstition. This is the law of energy, a simple law. That which is unprotected will be entered. The threshold is the front line, and for most of us, it is completely undefended. So, the fortress is identified, the gate is exposed. How do we guard it? A Shaolin warrior, when facing an opponent, he uses discipline. He uses structure. He uses focused strength. But that is against the physical. We are facing something more cunning. We are facing a fog. We are facing accumulated fatigue, envy, heaviness. You cannot use a sword to cut fog. The fog will simply envelop the blade and let it pass. You cannot use your fist to strike a shadow. The shadow remains unharmed, and your fist will only hit the wall behind it. When you shout at chaos, you only add your own noise to it. The ancient masters, those who observed the inner world, they understood this law. They taught you never fight darkness with force, because force is the language of the darkness. When you use it, you are speaking its language. You are lowering yourself to its level to deal with the darkness. You use light To deal with chaos, you use order, and to deal with negative stagnation, dead energy, you use purity. Purity is the greatest strength, because purity has a magical ability, one that violence does not. It does not destroy. Destruction is just another form of violence. No. Purity. It neutralizes. It transforms. It takes the energy that has lost its balance, that has become twisted, and returns it to its original state. The zero state, the state of stillness. Our weapons are not of steel. They are not forged in the fire of anger. They are gifts from the planet itself. Tools of balance, the first element, the foundation of protection, the most simple, the most humble, and perhaps the most powerful, is salt, not the dead. Refined salt, processed in a factory, stripped of its spirit. We need coarse, sear salt. Salt in its original crystalline form. Why? Because of its structure. A salt crystal is a lesson in order. It is geometric perfection. It is structure. And the greatest weapon against chaos is perfect structure. Chaos cannot exist in the face of absolute order. Contemplate salt. It is the crystallization of the earth. And the sea, two great forces. It is the earth itself in its most stable form. It is the symbol of permanence, of stability. For thousands of years, in every culture, humans, by instinct, have known this. What did they use salt for? They used it to preserve, to keep food from rotting, to stop decay. Understand this energetic stagnation is the decay of a space. Salt stops that decay, and they used it to cleanse. They cast salt. They bathed in salt. They sealed circles with salt for protection. Why? Because salt energetically acts as a prison. Its crystalline structure. It absorbs. It is a vacuum, a trap. It has a natural charge that draws in what is unbalanced, like a dry sponge soaking up water. Salt soaks up negativity. It soaks up the energetic dust you brought home. Salt does not fight the bad energy. It does not chase it away. It consumes it. It locks it away within its crystalline structure. It grounds the chaos. Negative energy needs to move. It needs to float to survive. Salt takes away its movement. It turns the invisible shadow into trapped matter. This is the power of Earth, a silent, receptive, yet absolute power, but absorption, passive defense, is only one half. We have set the trap. We have created a fortress wall. But a fortress needs sentries. A fortress does not just defend, it projects its presence. We need a signal, a beacon, a frequency. The second is the protection of herbs, the hermits, the ancient healers. They lived quietly enough to listen, and they heard that every plant, every leaf, sings a song. Each one carries a vibration, a distinct frequency, just as a high note can shatter glass. The frequency of certain herbs can shatter stagnation. Some plants vibrate with healing. Some vibrate with peace. They used sage to smudge a space, to break up old energy that had settled for years. It is a strong wind, clearing the cobwebs. They used sandalwood to invite the sacred, to elevate the space so high that stagnation simply cannot exist. They used rosemary, a plant of the sun. It brings clarity. It enhances awareness. It acts as a spiritual sentry, sharp and awake for our gate. We will choose an herb that is highly protective, rosemary or lavender. For peace, when it is ground, it releases its essence. Its fragrance is the weapon. It does not work like the salt. Salt absorbs, the herb projects. Salt pulls in, the herb pushes out. Salt is the trap. The herb is the alarm bell. Its fragrance raises the energy of the threshold to a higher frequency. The salt creates a wall. The herb places torchlit guards upon that wall. The salt is yin. It is recep. We have our weapons. Earth, in the form of salt. Air, in the form of herbs. But we are missing one element, the most important element, fire. But this is not a physical fire. This is the fire of consciousness, the fire of the mind. This is the ritual of intention. Now, stay with me. This is the essential part. This is where you shift from an observer to a participant. Take a bowl, a simple bowl, wood or ceramic. Now, take a handful of the coarse sea salt. Feel it in your palm first before you put it in the bowl. Feel the weight of the earth. Feel the sharpness of the crystals. Now, place it in the bowl. Next, take a pinch of your ground, dried herb. Bring it close to your face. Inhale. Smell the fragrance. Acknowledge its protective energy. Place it in with the salt. Now, use your hand. Not a spoon. Not a tool. Use yourself. With your fingers, mix them together. Slowly, feel the texture as they combine. Feel the salt breaking down. Feel the herb integrating. You are combining earth and air. You are becoming an alchemist. Be present. Do not think about tomorrow. Do not think about yesterday. There is only you. And these elements, this is your meditation. And now, the greatest secret, the salt by itself is just salt. It is a rock. The herb by itself is just a dead leaf. The bowl is just a bowl. Millions of people have these things in their homes and their spaces are still in chaos. Why? Because they are missing the fire. The thing that transforms these mundane materials into a powerful ritual. The thing that gives them the power to cleanse is your intention. What is intention? It is not a hope. It is not a wish. I hope this works. That is weakness. Intention is the focused energy of the mind. It is your will made manifest. It is mastery. It is the command you give to reality. A warrior does not hope his sword will cut. He commands it to now hold the bowl in both hands, feel its weight, feel the energy of the earth and the plant waiting inside. Close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, project your command into the mixture. Do not just think it, feel it, command it. Say it quietly or in your mind. But with your full power, I cleanse this space. I command this mixture to absorb all that is stagnant, all that is heavy. I set the boundary of peace. Only positive energy, love, and clarity are permitted to cross here. All that does not serve my peace, all that does not belong, must stop right here. You are not asking, you are declaring. You are the master of the fortress. This is your decree. Feel the power in that declaration. Feel the mixture in your hands, how it is now vibrating. It is activated. It is no longer salt and herbs. It is your will. Given form, now the mixture is ready. Take it to your threshold. Walk slowly and with awareness. Every step is a meditation. Stand before the threshold. Begin at one side. Take a pinch of the charged mixture and slowly sprinkle a thin line along the entire length of the threshold, from one end to the other. As you sprinkle, do not just see salt. See a line of light. Visualize a spiritual firewall, blue or white, flaring up from the line you are drawing. A shield that nothing can penetrate. A filter. With every pinch you lay down, affirm in your mind, it is sealed. It is protected. Nothing may enter without my permission. Do this until the entire threshold is sealed. When it is done, take one step back, place your hands together, look at your work, breathe, feel the shift in the air, the clarity, the stillness, the strength. The gate is now guarded. You see, this ritual, it is not magic to chase away darkness. That is a misunderstanding of the untrained mind. The mind that looks for complex solutions to simple problems. This ritual is an act of discipline. It is an act of awareness. It is a training. Do this. Do this once a week or whenever you feel the heaviness. Whenever the outside world feels like it has encroached too much, make it part of your discipline, like meditation, like practice. Because every time you bend down, every time you hold the salt in your hand, every time you sprinkle that line, you are not just cleansing your home. You are doing something far more important. You are reminding yourself that you are the gatekeeper, that you and you alone are the one who decides what energy is permitted into your space. This external physical act is an activation for your internal inner power. You are training your mind to recognize boundaries, the real magic, the real witchcraft that so many fear is unconsciousness. It is the state of living asleep. It is the act of allowing chaos and the anger and the fear of others to enter your mind and your home unchecked. It is the surrender of your will. The greatest self-mastery does not begin with controlling the world. It begins with mastering your space, protect the threshold of your home, and more importantly, protect the threshold of your mind. Because everything you allow to enter there will shape your reality. The peace that you are seeking, it begins within